Hey guys, make yourself comfortable and enjoy the video. Everything starts by introducing us to a world similar to ours, but one day, doors and dungeons to another world opened and countless demonic beasts came out in droves. A great disaster struck humanity unexpectedly. However, the appearance of hunters, people who had awakened abilities, turned the disaster into an opportunity. The demonic beasts that were hunted provided divine energy and divine matter, and this gave new hope to humanity. The hunters were divided into classes from SSS to G, and it's also highlighted that the ability of a class G was not much different from that of a normal human, and once the class of a hunter was decided, basically, there was no possibility of changing it. Time passed, and in the present, a young girl named Miri, observing a promotional poster of hunters, a little uneasy, says to herself, "This is the 10th exam, all this training has been for nothing." However, at that moment, a person kindly calls her attention. She turns around, not having paid attention to his words, thinking he is really popular. The young man who spoke to her asks if she doesn't feel something in particular and not to take this in a bad way, clarifying that he doesn't usually act in this strange way. Miriam observes him in detail and, not understanding what he means, says yes, thinking that he is some kind of malicious person, and starts to release a highly hostile energy. Nevertheless, at that precise moment, the young man receives a call and, seeing who it is from, runs away while apologizing to Miri for bothering her. She sees this sequence and wonders, who the hell is that? At the same time, a receptionist informs her that it is her turn and that she should go to the examination room. She does the evaluation and time passes a bit, and as the evening arrives, the young girl leaves the facilities with her results. Miriam observes that her class is B and says to herself, a little sad, I couldn't surpass class B again. I guess I can't surpass the class barrier. Nevertheless, a few seconds later, she receives a message under the name of emergency alert which says, a door has appeared in the center of Seoul, from which a thorn bull of class A has emerged, calling on nearby class A and higher hunters. Reading this, Miri is shocked because it's a beast recognized for its great power, noted for being able to destroy a city by itself. The demonic beast in a few minutes has already caused great destruction, and all the people around are running for their lives. At that same moment, due to the disturbance, a girl who was nearby evacuating with the young man who spoke to Miri stumbles, and he quickly helps her get up and asks if she is okay. The girl responds that she is, but before they could make any escape move, the spiny bull rushes toward them to kill them. However, before it could touch them, someone says the word lightning and a powerful attack hits the beast, immobilizing it for a moment. The person who attacked it was Miri, who arrived just in time. Nevertheless, seeing that the demonic beast is practically intact, she becomes very alarmed but, without hesitation, gathers more power and unleashes it against her opponent, saying, let's see if you're okay after this. Storm lightning. The attack hits her opponent directly and a great curtain of smoke is produced. Miri wonders if she has defeated it, but a few seconds later, a look appears from among the rubble, and the demonic beast emerges in good condition without wasting time and attacks the young girl. She is unable to defend herself from the attack and is sent flying a few meters and is damaged considerably. Similarly, the young girl, gathering her strength, gets up and says, I guess a class A beast is on a different level. Nevertheless, seeing that there are still people and that the situation is dangerous because the beast is approaching without giving up, she puts herself as a shield and screams to the ones behind her to run because she doesn't know how long she can hold out. Therefore, she emphasizes that they move quickly. The demonic beast enters the range of the young girl and she, focused on buying time, gathers all her strength, but seeing that her ability has decreased in power due to her exhaustion, with great concern, while observing the beast in front of her, she has a flashback of the past, where she, in front of a scene of ruins, crying, says, Mom, Dad, I can't let this happen. I'm going to destroy everything. But a woman beside her says, Son, you don't even dream of something like revenge. Returning to the present, with great anger, she says that they shouldn't mess with her and is about to confront death head-on. However, at the precise moment when she is about to attack her opponent with all her strength, she hears a voice in her head saying God's crushing index finger, and at that same instant, an immense amount of power begins to surge from her body. She contains it and directs it towards her opponent, channeling it into one point, causing a great destruction that ravages everything in its path, and ends the life of the beast in the process. A few minutes later, the media and association of hunters arrive, the people acclaiming her as the Lightning Empress, noting that it is a feat that few could accomplish alone. However, the young woman, overwhelmed, contemplating what happened, says, I defeated a horned bull. What the hell was that power? I just now felt clearly how I exceeded my limits. At the same time, the young man who saved her says, "Son Miri, thank you so much. How can I repay this debt?" She kindly replies that it's okay and she's glad they're safe. He thanks her from the bottom of his heart and leaves immediately. However, just after he leaves, the young adventurer, shocked, says to herself, "Wait, how did he know my name? No one should know that I am the Lightning Empress." Remembering the words she heard in the fight, she continues saying, "The voice I heard in my head was his." She wonders who is the man. Time passes, and as night falls, near a lake, the young man, looking at his cell phone, says to himself, "This place is one of the most popular spots to commit suicide. Of course, I'm not here to die. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I could have died, and it wouldn't just be me. My niece could have died too. All of this is because of this phone. This stupid, unlucky phone." Oh, moving his arm, he is about to throw it away. However, at that moment, events that happened 2 days ago are explained to us. At that time, this young man named Jolson, who is the protagonist, is doing his job of writing web novels but feeling a little mentally exhausted. He says that he can't come up with anything, even though tomorrow is the deadline. However, at that precise moment, he sees his cell phone, getting distracted with it, and decides to uninstall the apps he doesn't use, but he sees one of them and wonders what it is, saying that he doesn't remember installing it. When he opens it, he wonders if it's a game. It's called Godmaker, and quickly running it, it shows a kind of ant, and without surprise, seeing this, he thinks to himself, "An ant? I can't even read the letters that appear. What kind of crazy game is this? I will try to click on something for now. Damn it, I died." However, at that precise moment, a coin appears from his cell phone and hits him, very confused. He observes it and holds it while a notification from the game that appeared tells him, "Number 1 was crushed to death. As a reward, a dark god coin fell. Congratulations, you are one step closer to becoming a god who governs by force and seeks power." And assimilating all of this, he thinks to himself, "I just developed hunter abilities 20 years ago, and something like this happened. One would have sought a psychiatrist in a hospital or a shaman. But the world has changed." So quickly and without thinking, he directed himself to the Adventurers Association. And then at the moment of taking the exam, an administrative woman told him, "Congratulations, sir. In agreement with the results of the aptitude test, you have demonstrated abilities." He was very surprised to hear this and began to think to himself, "I won't even wish for a class A. Please, just a D class, or even if it were E the class, he could stop being a novel author and become a hunter." But unfortunately, the woman informs him that it's a class G. This disappoints the new hunter a lot. But the administrative woman continues saying, "If you look here, it indicates that your ability is the creation of matter." He sadly says that it's class G, more or less a normal civilian, and the administrative woman asks him if he wants to register to obtain a license. He asks her the cost of it, but upon hearing that the price is $280, he says to himself that there is not a single dungeon he can enter as a class G, so why should he waste his money? He decides to go home and finish the chapter of the week before the director of the web novel starts to harass him. As time passed and in the middle of the night, he found himself with a slight block and said to himself, "What have I been doing for the last 5 hours? Writing and deleting. I need to cool my head for a moment." To distract himself, he turns on the television but sees that the news is only about a rank hunter who successfully faced a level disaster dungeon, or a female rank hunter who promotes a skincare line with a mix of anger and frustration. He tries to fall asleep while thinking to himself that wherever he looks, there are successful hunters. I hate seeing them. Let's sleep a little and then write with a clear head. However, 5 minutes later, his phone alarm goes off, preventing him from sleeping, and he complains about this due to its strange shut-off system. He can't fall asleep, so he starts killing a lot of ants without stopping, accumulating a lot of coins in the process. The young man falls asleep while doing this activity, and the next morning, when he wakes up, he looks around and says, "Where did all the coins that were piled up go? I had at least a few hundred. The small coin used to say 1, but this is 100. At that moment, he notices a notification that appears on his mobile game that says, "Congratulations, unknown god. You have met the requirements to open the god's shop." He wonders what that shop is that the game mentions, and observing the options, he says, "Of course, curiosity kills all authors," and by pressing the button that says yes, a big light that impacts him emerges from his device. On the other hand, at the same time, in a meeting with many high-ranking security people of the nation, one of the men who coordinated the meeting says, "I would like to thank the president, the head of the Hunters Association, and the important people of the political and business world who have gathered here today in the midst of their busy schedules. I have the huge pleasure of informing you that finally, in our nation, we have a hunter who has opened his hunter's shop. This excites all the present people, stating that it is an ultra-rare ability to awaken, even among the creation-type hunters, and in addition, they will now be able to buy items and abilities of different classes. In response to these reactions, the man who leads the meeting says, "Very well, come and please show us the hunter's store." The hunter who entered confirms that he will do so, and saying the words activate, he releases a great energy, but after a small commotion, everything calms down. They worry at first, but calming down, the bewildered presenters affirm that they are not able to see anything. The man who gathered them says, "Everyone please calm down. It is normal that only the person who has activated the store can see it. Now we will use the telepathic ability of Sun Mina to show everyone the store that only the hunter can see." Acting quickly, all present are able to visualize the hunter's store. This has items that include objects of rank S. The presenters amazed affirm that they have only heard of these items in myths and legends, highlighting that the blessing of the god of lightning, with a cost of 3 trillion gold, is around 3 trillion won. Still, they consider it cheap, considering the ability. At that moment, the man sitting in the middle of the room draws the attention of everyone and says, "Everyone please keep in mind that the destiny of our country depends on this. Therefore, we must keep this secret until the project is fully operational. Mr. Kangu will need to have at least 2 classy hunters as bodyguards." The woman with the telepathic ability looks at everyone thoughtfully, and the meeting proceeds calmly. On the other hand, returning home, the game communicates that he needs to spend 100 coins to activate the store. He accepts without hesitation, and upon seeing a coin disappear, he thinks to himself, "Disappeared. Up until now, only strange coins keep appearing, but maybe I am a creation-type hunter like Kangu. The difference between Kangu, who is class S, and me, whom class G, is like the sky and the earth, but even so, I will be able to get some money." Having completed the payment, the god's store manifests itself before the young hunter. This contains items of which the hunter can only observe the price. Very surprised by everything, he says, "What the hell is written there? But what is this with these numbers? 10, 100, 1000, 10,000. After all night, gathering 300 coins, is looking at the shop and sees the prices. He is confused and wondering why they are so high. Despite that, the shop starts to move on its own and stops on a low-cost item. He doesn't understand what the shop is asking him to buy, but he buys the item anyway and receives a notification that he has bought the Eye of the Blind God, along with its unique authority. As he looks at the icon of the item he just bought and its original price, he says in amazement, "Eye of the Blind God, unique authority. This is the unique authority of the unknown god activated by a strong wind. You will not be able to see the truth even if you have it in front of your eyes. Purchase cost, 100 million. However, at that precise moment, Sin's eyes turn white and he loses his balance. While recovering, he says, "I can't see what's happening. I haven't gone blind, have I? I need to call for help. Where did my phone fall? It should be somewhere nearby." Due to his current state, he ends up crashing into one of the objects in his room, causing him a lot of pain. But as soon as he calms down, he realizes that he can see again, and taking his phone, he says, "That scared me. Wait a moment. Now he can read the big names on all the items. What is this? I feel like the protagonist of a novel. Someone who is class G will live like that until death. Those who are class S will also live like that until death, but I'm sure they said there were exceptions. Maybe I can buy something else. Let's see, the crushing index finger of God. That sounds pretty strong. I'll try clicking on this. It's the only thing I can afford." The game system notifies him that he has bought the crushing index finger of God, and he wonders if it's a skill. Nevertheless, he realizes that there was a change in the air conditioning when he said those words. So he repeats it and sees that the air conditioning turns on and off. With a lot of energy, he says it towards the television, and after several repetitions, he says, "This skill, I think it's a kind of remote control." Later, he tries to use it with a writing application, but as he doesn't see any changes, he says, "As I thought, a novel doesn't write itself." A few seconds later, he receives a phone call from a man scheduled as the all-powerful director, who is yelling and tells him that the thing he sent is incredibly good, and the young man thinks to himself that he just wrote about his experience killing ants. During this time it was fun. He asks the director if he is serious, and he responds, "Yes, the plot is unique and has a lot of potential. But unfortunately, there is a big problem. The nervous young man asks what it is and says he will fix it immediately, but the man tells him there's no next chapter. This is so incredible. When will the next chapter be? The young man gets angry for being scared for nothing but calming down. He tells him that he will write it in about 3 days and send it to him. Understanding the situation he's in better, he prepares to continue the annihilation of ants, saying so killing these ants creates great content. So let's go. I don't hold a grudge against you guys. I'm just working hard for my new novel. The ant number 302 perishes and the system tells him a coin of the dark god has been thrown as a reward. He continues killing ants as if nothing until he reaches the point of contemplating with his own eyes how the coins of one unite into one of 100 and admiring the store of God, saying I only have 100 coins now, I'm still missing a lot to buy objects, what should I do? Even the cheapest items cost 1,000 coins. Wait, the blessing of the growth god, low-class god. Wouldn't this be better than an useless authority? Even if it's of low class, the word growth makes my heart beat very fast. I will collect 1,000 coins quickly and buy this. And he continues killing ants without problems. However, upon encountering ant number 404, he is surprised by its color and because he is not able to crush it due to its great speed and power, making him wonder if it's a boss, and taking his opponent seriously. He starts attacking it with all his power, showcasing all his abilities. Time passes and the young hunter, already desperate, thinks to himself, I didn't do it, how is this demonic ant so fast? I'll kill the rest of you. As the hours pass and it becomes night, the system informs him that number 801 has been crushed to death. The karma of an unknown god has been surpassed. 800 karmas remain until you can obtain the title of evil god, who seeks power and aggression. You can win rewards once you obtain the title. Without warning, he falls asleep while reading this information, and the system, with the tornado, manifests screens that say the unique authority, the blind eye of God, has been activated. A god of an unknown name is pursuing the unacquired sacrifice, number 404. Suddenly, he opens his eyes in a movie theater and wonders what is happening. But he remains calm and watches a movie that begins to roll in front of him. In it, he sees an injured ant warrior walking in the middle of a desert, and says, is this really the power of the Black Tribe God? He tried to kill me by sacrificing his followers. His depravity makes him seem more like a demon than a god. I'm running out of time. I have to tell my comrades. That is all for today. If you enjoyed the video, please like video and subscribe to the channel.